Well, hello everyone, and look who is in my chair today. It's the fabulous dear friend of mine, Mr. Alan Carr.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Dankeschön.
Oh, you practice some German,
Yeah,
love?
speaking Sie Deutsch?
I appreciate it when someone is prepared for all of this.
Thank you.
You're
Bitte, bitte.
I've been just doing a German lesson now for 45 minutes.
Ja. Schnell, schnell.
I
Schnell,
love
schnell.
that.
Come on, time is money.
So I think what will be quite interesting for everyone who's listening now, how did we actually meet? Do you remember it?
Well, there's the official story, and then there's the urban myth that you perpetuate and you tell everyone.
Which one is that?
When I was performing at the Yard and your friend tried to put
Was
us on-
headlining.
Headlining? Well, I do headline.
No, that's
I am.
what you don't like about it. You didn't headline that night,
No,
I think.
I didn't know. Wasn't, no.
But that was before you became Mr.
Yeah,
Carr.
but then my friend wanted us to go on a date.
Oh, yeah, that's actually very true. That's
Yes.
the official story. Why did we never do that?
Well, I didn't fancy you.
Wow, that's an opener. Great.
Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. That was lovely.
No,
Lovely
no,
to
listen.
see you.
Do you know what? Maybe in an alternate universe, you could be the Mrs. Andreas Carr.
Oh, my God, can you actually?
What's German for car? Automobile?
Car.
Oh, okay. Well, that's handy. You wouldn't have to change any documentation. No, but then, I was probably nervous before I was going on. I don't like to chat much. But then, I'm not being a bitch, but I can't remember you.
No, that's okay, darling.
Which is weird
You know, I've
because
got feelings. Everyone thinks I'm that butch German hairdresser, but I do actually quite sensitive. I'm like a little flower, little Edelweiss.
You are.
you.
But what I could say is, it's weird that I can't remember you because out of all of my friends, everyone remembers you. And I was on Michael McIntyre's show, wasn't I? We just sent to all, and you replied.
I replied twice, which was one of the best moments of my life because I was in Germany and I got this message that one of your dogs
Getting married, yeah.
getting married, and he wanted me to be the best man, walked him down the aisle. Snoop Dogg is doing the food or what, the DJing or whatever. And I replied, and then Sebastian, the husband, said, "Oh, I think he's on that show." And then I replied again, and then he read it out.
Yes, and then Michael goes, "Who is this from?" Andreas. And he was going, "Oh, Andreas, I want to meet Andreas." And he said, "What?"
TV goes, TV goes.
Yeah. And he goes, "What does Andreas do?" I said, "He's a hairdresser." Well, Michael's eyes lit up. This is a gift for him. "Oh, Andreas, snip, 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 Andreas."
But I can't believe how many people actually watched it. I got so many phone calls that night.
Yes.
They say, like, you must be that hairdresser.
Yeah.
But then you bring me up all the time on Graham Norton. You brought me up, so you're obviously slightly obsessed with me. So I should have been Mrs. Carr. But anyway, different story.
But are you going to mention Graham Norton then? How you, I pulled some strings and you ended up being by the side of the stage?
What?
Glam Squad?
Oh my God, yeah. So Alan went on Graham Norton, and I said to him, "Oh, who does your hair?" And he said, I don't need any hair. It's actually good because we obviously have to talk about hair.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm here
that
to
is
talk about my various hairstyles I've had
I love
throughout
it,
the
the
year.
way you brought it around to hair. Very clever. I like that. No, and then I said, "I want to come." And you said, "I don't have any hair. Why would you want to come?" And I said, "Because I want to meet Kate Blanchett." And then
Kate Blanchett and Margot Robbie was on.
Exactly, she was
And
brilliant.
then he said, "Darling, I want to meet Kate. I want to meet
He
Kate."
said, "Actually, my accent."
You
you're
sound
doing."
like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He's Austrian, by the way, I think. But anyway,
same,
great.
same bloody thing.
The insults keep on coming. I need therapy after this. I actually need therapy after this. Thank you, Mr. Carr. I thought we were having a little friendly chat, and I've been abused.
So he wants to meet Kate Blanchett and Margot. It was really Kate, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so I've been on Graham Norton, I mean, double figures. I've always got every series, I always go on like this. For the first time ever, I had to ring up and say, "Hi, I'll be bringing my glam squad with me." Well, I mean, I could hear the woman going, huh?
Do you know when I checked in downstairs at the reception or whatever, and I said, "Oh, I'm here for Alan Carr's hair," and she nearly fell off the chair. I thought, how rude! I thought I was not happy. And then we were backstage before you went on, and then everyone was touching up. Beverly Knight was there, so all the makeup artists, hairdressers.
Yeah.
And then I thought I have to, and then Alan went, do something with my hair. And then like even the cameraman turned around and was pissing themselves laughing.
But I mean, what made me laugh, he was just looking at Kate Blanchett and Margot Robbie like that. And I'm like,
Spritzing your
hello,
hair."
glam squad. Shouldn't you be spread some of that glam in my area? And then, of course, I don't know if you've ever seen it being recorded, but Graham Norton, they have a pause and then the person comes out and then they spray, don't they? And, you know, do touch up. And then he comes over and basically went,
I did not lick my hand. I'm a professional. Thank you. Seriously?
That's a joke. That's a joke. He
Good.
was there with that. And you even put
Hairspray.
some... Did you put any of that sprinkles on to make my hair thicker?
No.
That's why it looks thin.
Shine. It went through like that.
Yeah,
was
but
all.
I mean, it was
But
so...
that was great fun. But actually talking about your hair, which I find quite interesting to ask, is how do you feel about it? Because, I mean, I personally, I lost a little bit of my hair, right, at the hairline and at the back of my hair. And I find it very distressing when I go down the escalator. Because I always feel like that people look at the back of my head.
Yes.
So when did you? I mean, we don't have to obviously like.
Have I lost my? What?
No, you got.
I've got a full head of hair. What do you?
Thick hair, gorgeous look.
Okay, listen. Growing up, fat, goofy, gay, glasses.
You're gay.
Yeah, I am gay. You heard it here first. I've started having a glam squad. Turned me homosexual.
It wasn't me, by the way.
So no, and it was so funny because I had all these things like with my teeth and everything, and then when I started losing my hair, I was like, out of everything, that was the thing. I was like, oh my God.
Right.
You know, and it's always been thinning. I've got the bald spot there, and when it gets wet, you can sort of see all that. And I do take the little pills and stuff, but I mean, that's...
You take pills?
Yeah, just to keep it going.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but I haven't had an erection for 20 years.
Oh my God. Okay, well, that's good to know. I'm glad I didn't end up at
just-
Mrs.
I mean-
Carr. Bloody hell, imagine.
But I mean, it's still going. Look, and that.
But
I
how
mean,
does it? I mean, I sound like a psychiatrist because I always ask my clients. And also, a funny fact is that when men actually lose their hair, they don't want to see the mirror, right? When you finish a haircut.
I hate that
because
when you whip the mirror
actually
out.
show the mirror and then you show a little bit where it's thinning, they get quite a little bit upset about that.
But you're really sweet like that. You're so quick,
I
aren't
showed
you?
a jumper. I showed.
He did a really lovely thing. He sort of angled it to another customer one day, and I was like, "Oh my God, a ponytail!" And I was like,
The
"Woo!"
bloke like walking out like Cher.
It's like you are a miracle worker because I've got a ponytail. No, but you are good like that. You whiz it round, and do you know what I like about you? You don't push the products. Alan, you need this because you know, because I know you push. Most hairdressers do push, don't they? Alan, you
No,
need
I can't
wax.
do that.
You don't say, Alan, you need wax.
I always feel like when when you walk into Selfridges, the beauty hall, and they stand there with the perfume and they want to spray you, which I absolutely hate.
You hate that.
So I always feel a little bit like that. But are you insecure about it?
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, now that is the joy of when you get to your late 30s. You
And a national treasure, obviously.
listen. You get used to things, and listen. If at the end of the day, end of your 40s, the only thing you've lost is your hair or a bit of hairline or a bald spot. I mean, I think I'm doing lucky. I mean, the world is just so grim at the minute.
Would you go to Turkey?
No, I wouldn't go to.
No, but you
Why
never
would you
know.
suggest that?
No,
It's
but
not that
I'm only
bad, is it?
asking. I'm only asking, darling.
Would you?
Would you go to
Do you
Turkey?
ask your other guests on here? Would you go to Turkey?
Yes, I will.
I wouldn't mind, but there's a car out there waiting to take me to Heathrow. Bodrum, please.
Bodrum, please, for a hair transplant.
But I mean, with the way I look, and I've said this a million times before, but it's very strange for me. All the things I hated as a kid about me are now everything now is my trademark, I hated my teeth, hate my voice, hate wearing glasses. That's it.
I've seen your stand-up a lot of times, and which is obviously very brilliant. But you do make jokes a lot about yourself. Like, is that like therapy, or is that Like, because I mean, obviously it's the obvious thing to do, you know, like I take the piss about myself. I mean, there's not much to take the piss about.
No,
but
I know.
Clearly.
I'd hate to see you do stand-up. It'd be gone in the blink of an eye. I'm perfect.
I don't have any jokes about myself.
Yeah.
I'm terribly sorry.
Well, if you need some glam squad before you go on stage,
can
just
do it.
call.
You can. You can.
I'm so sorry, I've got a cough.
There is a
Oh,
water there,
water
darling,
here,
for you,
lovely.
love, and we get you some tea in a minute. Yeah, but yeah, no, I've
Oh my God,
that was bad. Sorry, Laura King, who did all the design for the salon. I'm really sorry.
Stupid, there's a book there, and the book's under the table.
Yeah, but there is a glass top, darling.
I know, I've
so,
seen
I mean,
glass before.
well,
I
clearly
lived in
not.
Belgravia,
You just smashed the
remember?
glass on it, my
I'm
love.
so sorry.
Dust.
You're cleaner.
Obviously, everyone knows you for like your teeth. That's a big story. But also, you would never fix them. Why should you?
No,
and
why
also
should I?
with the glasses. But I think I always thought a little bit about. Obviously, it's therapy. Is it therapy? I asked it already before.
What?
To talk about it.
Yes, I mean, it's... Well, I think it's that old thing when you're at school and you're getting bullied, you'd wisecrack, you'd get the joke in before someone else does.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I do joke about, and that's not me farting, that's
It's the chair.
That is the chair.
Sitting on
This
dust.
interview's haunted. And it's, yeah, I suppose it's not therapy. I mean, listen, if I was just starting out, but I've been doing stand-up for 25 years.
Right.
So, that joke's gone about me teeth.
Yeah.
But when I started, I would mention it a lot. But when therapy's a bit hard, I mean, it's just acknowledging it now. But like I said, I think you get comfortable in your own skin. I wouldn't change.
Anything.
And I think everyone looks the same now. You know, everyone
my
goes.
God, yeah,
and
it's
people
true.
are admitting now they're having hair transplants. Do you remember back in the day when people say, "Oh, I'm just going on holiday," and they come back? Fucking hell. Is that roadkill on your head? And then they've got like these massive bright white teeth, and I just went on a holiday. At least people go, I'm having it done. They're on Instagram, TikTok. I'm having it done. I prefer that, a little bit of honesty, because women get that they have breast implants. Yes. Can't even say it. I'm so gay. Breast implants, fanny. They have their fannies.
Funny tightening.
Fanny
That's the thing.
tightening.
Funny tightening. Well done. You see, that is like therapy.
That is like I mentioned
Just talk about
I
the
mentioned
words.
fannies.
Oh my
But
God.
they don't. But why shouldn't men? Why shouldn't men have penis enlargements?
Oh, now we really turn it around.
Yeah,
why
now
not? I
shit's-
watched that
shit's
program
gay.
actually, and they do like injections and all of that, like in your penis. That it's like Botox or it's like fillers that to make
Fillers
it like
in
look
your
less
penis.
wrinkly. That's the thing now.
they're
Apparently,
meant
everyone goes, look around.
But I mean, surely the ball bag is the stuff that needs the Botox.
how do we get actually? Do you think that
If you
people
invite Scum onto your podcast, you get Scum.
Do you think
chat.
people do-
Well, have fucking Stephen Fry on if you want to talk books, literary books.
do you think they do transplants for balls as well soon?
Well, I
That
wouldn't.
would be-
Wouldn't mind having younger balls.
No, I mean hair, like
Oh, hair,
implant
sorry.
like pubic hair to your bicep. So
No, I mean, would you as
No.
my? Okay. Well,
no, I wouldn't.
No.
Because I think
It's sort of
I
clinging
thought
on a
about
bit,
it.
isn't
Do you
it?
still have enough hair, darling? And I thought about it a lot with doing my hair, but I'm not gonna do it because I feel like.
Where's
I
your
don't-
hair gone from? Because it was there. Is it there?
When you have to ask, I love that. So obviously it's not that obvious.
No,
It's
no.
obviously in the front and on the top there, which was a little bit of a big thing. But I can cover it. But I wouldn't want to do all those sprays and all of that, what
No,
people do.
no.
But I understand that people actually do it.
'Cause
Because it is a big thing, I think, hair, especially not only for women. And I think it's great for men as well, that obviously they talk about it more and there are ways to do it. And it actually changed a lot now, being far more natural
Yeah.
when you do it.
Yes, yeah.
So in that case, I think it's a good thing that everyone is.
I mean, if it makes you feel more confident,
Yeah.
then I think go for it. It's
Do
not
whatever you
hurting
want.
anyone. Like I said, women have been doing it for ages. Why shouldn't men? And there is an honesty there about it, which is good. But for me, that ship sailed. I am there's lots of negatives getting older, but one of the positives is I'm happy in my skin, and I haven't really been able to say that in a long time. And I think when you're younger, old people used to say, "Oh, when you get your 40s and your 50s, you're happy in your skin." Like, yeah, but actually, I think it's true.
I think you get more confident and you don't give a shit as much anymore what people think about you.
Yes, that's definitely true.
I think it's also a British thing. In Germany, when I go home, a lot of times the Germans really think about too much what other people think about them. So they're always kind of watching around and all of that. And now being British, got a British passport.
Well, I have every. I think social media, everyone criticised and stuff. But I mean, I am what I am. I'm honest.
Yeah, but that's good, and that's why we love you. That's why you're national treasure.
I suppose I am a national treasure.
But how does it feel for you to be on the other side? Obviously, you got a very successful podcast yourself.
Yes.
I always want to say life is a bitch, but obviously life is a beat. So that's obviously hugely successful.
Yes, it is.
Bravo. How does it feel to be on the other side now?
I know.
Because normally you control, obviously, like the what do you call it? The interview, the podcast, the thing.
No, you're very good. But then I think hairdressers are like interviewers anyway. You know what I mean? I mean, people come in, they tell you stuff that you wouldn't even tell a close family member. And you don't know who you're going to get through the door. You're going to get someone. It's like a chat show, they smile. But I mean, you have someone like Hugh Grant on who famously doesn't like interviews. When he comes down, he's grumpy a little bit. And then you say, oh, and then, I gave him a gin and tonic and he loosened up. And at the end, it was really fun and really dry sense of humour. But you have that. And then you have people who want to come down and have a laugh. You have people who maybe don't want to talk. You have that yourself. But, I mean, what are the signs you do when someone comes in? Because, you get taxi drivers, they know when they don't want to ask you anything. Is there a sign? Do people say, shut up, Andreas?
Well, they would take a newspaper or magazine, or these days, obviously, they're on their phone. But I would still talk. Funny enough, you always attract your own kind as a hairdresser. So the most of the people I get, they want to chat. But they all say that I talk a lot about me. Which is kind of funny that I literally, my colleagues, they always go, we know every single detail, but sometimes I change the story around a little bit, and then they all know that obviously it's like...
But sometimes I've sat there with a book, which for me is giving signs, don't talk to me, Andreas. But then sometimes you've snatched the book out my hand and you've carried on talking.
It. Yeah, but that's the
And you burned it and stamped on it.
You never came...
Because you've got gossip.
You never came in with a book, by the way.
But I think that's a lie. It was a pamphlet. Because I knew he wouldn't. Ripped it up.
No, but that's actually really interesting because I think with our hairdressers, you are like, because we are not friends with my clients. I'm not friends with them, So obviously I'm a third person in a way that they can tell me things and I try not to. But sometimes I think it's actually too hardcore. Like sometimes they tell me things and I have to say I'm not really qualified to actually answer that or get involved in. Not about
but
just
you
the hair.
do, though. When have you ever...
You know me too well.
When have you ever gone, I'm actually not qualified to talk about this?
I can't talk about your sex life. You don't have orgasms. Sorry, I can't help you with
You might as well wear a pair of waders.
I did actually recommend... One of my clients, she told me that... her husband had an affair and all of that. But she was quite happy with it because she didn't want to have sex with him anyway anymore.
Good.
So I said you should
That was private, what I told you.
I wouldn't name her Miss La La La. No, of course not. And I said to her, oh, you should maybe get yourself a call boy. And she did. And I couldn't believe she actually listened to me. So she said she called this like agency, which is like looks after wealthy women, a gigolo. And they met in Claridge's and they had dinner. And then they went up to the room and she was so pleased because he just looked after her. Obviously, they get paid to make a woman 100% happy.
Wow.
But she listened to me and I was completely I was like, oh, someone actually, normally they say, go to that restaurant and they, oh yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
But then actually she got herself
Because normally you go out dating, dip your toe in the water, not dip everything in the bloody water.
Yeah, there was a lot of dipping going on that night, but good for her. So I was quite happy that
you never give me this advice when I come in and I'm all single.
I tried, darling.
Alan, get to Claridge's, darling. Get rent boy.
Get
rent boy. Fucked by rent boy.
Oh my God.
Get fucked.
I do love when you do that voice. I mean, you do it with other friends, and it's like, Yeah, do I actually sound like that? Do I sound like that?
You sound like that.
But everyone is nodding, even the dogs are nodding. Really? I would have never thought that.
Sarah Connor. You're like, I'm from the future. No, you're not. You're not that. You're not.
but I don't have
you're
a
not Grace Jones, but you are like you got that deep.
Oh, you got a good story about Grace Jones, but we're not gonna. No, but my favorite thing was also obviously we traveled a lot as well, and my favorite story was when we went to Sri Lanka 2 years ago and we left the beach and this woman was because now obviously also since I know you, I think I was kind of there for the journey of fame, if you can put it like that, because at the beginning. Not a lot of people recognize, especially when you don't wear your glasses. But the most, obviously, it's your voice. If you would just be quiet in public, nobody
That's
would,
rich coming from you.
But I'm not famous, so in that case, that's a different story. So lots of times we've been to like a public place. I say, Alan, don't talk. And then we're in the supermarket.
But I tell you, don't call me by my name, Alan. I say, come up, Trevor. Alan, sorry, Trevor. And then, of course, people think it's Arnold Schwarzenegger shopping with Alan Carr.
No, but then
People
you
think we're
yell.
dating.
But then you yell through the supermarket, La Prosecco is only that. And then everyone turns around and goes like, it's Mr. Carr.
I know, I can't help
No,
it.
that's fine. It's your voice. But, so back to Sri Lanka. So we leave the beach.
Best holiday ever.
Best holiday ever. And there was
I had a holiday romance, sort of.
Well, you kind of, because you snogged a girl at your Christmas party before, and then you thought you were kind of bisexual.
Yes.
Which you then screamed around on the train. We were on the train for 6 hours, completely pissed, and I could only hear the voice going, I'm bisexual. I do women and I do men. And I was like, I had to leave. I went to the end of the carriage.
They were Sri Lankan. They didn't know.
Oh, they did know. But then nobody actually knew you. And they were Germans with sandals and socks. And they even left the carriage, which was very entertaining. But then what really made me laugh was on our last date. I mean, because now, obviously, I know how it works. People, they kind of look at the friends to come close to you. And there was this woman at the beach, and she was looking at me. And then at one point, she went in with the kill and said, "Oh, which hotel? Do you remember which hotel?"
Yeah, she asked one of those crappy questions that.
And even the husband went, "Why would you ask that?" And then she said, "Oh, I'm a big fan. I loved you in the jungle, and it's my favorite song." And we all went, "What?" And then she said, "Go on, Boy George. I know it's you. I've never heard anything like it."
Yeah.
And we all went, "What the hell is going on?"
I know. And then we went past her in the
tuk-tuk.
tuk-tuk.
And we all started singing.
Come, chameleon. She went, I knew it was you.
I know it. And she ran with the tuk-tuk.
Yeah.
And she was like, I knew it's my favorite song.
Yes.
I mean, but then my favorite story is always the one also with your brother, obviously, when you're outside in Notting Hill. With that was like...
Oh, yes. And he says, I know you. I know you. Yeah, you're off the telly. I went, yes, like that.
That's
and
me.
then he was just like pointing, and I was introduced to my brother. I said, this is my brother, Gary. That's not your brother. I said, oh, he is. That's not your brother. He's not Chinese. I said, pardon? He said, you're Gok Wan. I said, I'm not Gok Wan. Yes, you are. Why are you lying? I said, I'm not Gok Wan. Yes, you are. Why would you lie? And I went, fashion. See, told ya, knew it.
But it is, oh my God. But
I love that's the only way. You got one. He's a designer. He's like DJ, presenter, radio host. But that fashion,
and it's like,
Gok.
Yeah, but people still talk about Chatty Man. I mean, they're still... I mean, 2 weeks ago, we walked down the street and this woman said to you, oh, I haven't seen you on the telly late. Are you still on the telly? And I went, every time I switch the TV on, he's fucking there. Where have you been? Underneath
I
a
know.
rock?
I get embarrassed because I'm on the telly so much. But you're right, this woman, when are we going to see you back on the telly? I can't... The only thing I'm not on is Crime Watch. I mean, I'm like...
And you should be.
I should be. Watch next week. You might recognise someone.
We've got a mass murderer on, everyone.
Oops.
You heard it here first.
That's an exclusive.
Tom the Ripper.
Yeah, but it just shows you now, I think, with the telly, because you stream things and you put in what you want to see. It's not like before where you go, fucking hell, it's Alan Carr again. I think you have to go searching for it.
I mean, you are everywhere. But I love that, obviously, for you.
Well, I can't help it being a sex Yes.
National treasure.
National
Thank you
treasure.
very much.
But the thing is, as well, I do a selection of things, you see.
You can choose now.
Yeah, RuPaul's Drag Race, which I love.
Love.
I mean, last week's episode
Cried
was
my eyes
so were
out.
the families. Oh, my God, yeah.
Cried my eyes out.
After the horrible lockdown, pandemic, that was the show that I went back to first. They got up and running, you know,
Yeah.
Mama Ru, got to make some money, so we were straight in there.
Straight in there.
It was the perfect antidote because, you know, we've all been locked up in that, you know, just seeing some drag and hearing some emotional stories. Because I think with RuPaul, you can enjoy it on so many different levels.
Yeah.
You can watch it for the fashion. You can watch it from the backstory. You can watch it for the performances. It is a triple threat as a show, you know.
I love it.
And
I mean,
it's
that
just
family thing was hardcore. But also, I remember in lockdown, we did this live, remember, when
oh yes,
you had a haircut. And I tried to explain it over the
yes,
live.
with Paul. Paul's going to cut my hair.
And I was guiding them, basically. I was kind of like, do that, do that. But then Sebastian, my husband, said, oh, you need to then, in the end, press the button so we can save it. And in the end, he came in and he yelled at me to press the button. But I got a phone call at the same time. And then everyone was tagged because then I said, oh, fuck off. I know what to do. Go away. And I was still live.
Yes.
And then
and
all
then
this
I was
message,
shitting myself because I thought...
and you went
oh,
like, no.
Wasn't that fat twat boring? Or like, I hate
Did you see his hairline?
I hate Alan.
Did you see his hairline?
I
I mean,
know.
he's losing it even more.
Oh, my God. He thinks he is a national treasure. He is deluded. So I was like, Andreas, you're still live.
Oh my God,
But
that
no.
was absolutely hilarious.
But that's how mad the pandemic was. You know, when you're so bored,
Oh,
why
right.
don't I get a haircut and a hairdresser explain to someone who's never cut hair to cut my hair? How bored are you? That
Actually,
is madness. Someone describing someone to cut your hair
But
over Zoom.
but you know, a client actually, I had a client, she paid me. She said, can I pay you so you can watch me cutting my husband's hair? But at one point, she pressed the mute button and she didn't stop. So I'm like yelling, no, stop, stop, stop. He looked like out of prison. And then at one point, she just looked at me like this. And I'm like, you need to actually press the button again. And then obviously she did still pay me, but
Yeah.
I didn't get a tip. But he looked like a complete idiot. No, that was like, yeah, the pandemic, completely different story. So what's
Can you believe we lived
No.
through that pandemic? I just
No.
thought, what the hell were
But
we
we
doing?
did have a good, I mean, if I would have known, I would have just moved into your house.
Yeah, I know.
We would
I
have had
know.
so much fun.
And then just banging those pots on a Thursday night.
I had a bell. I had a bell. Nobody
Just like
else.
that, bang, bang. I mean, madness. That's gonna be in history books. And then on a Thursday, everyone came out with a wooden spoon and a pan to thank the NHS.
Thank the NHS. No, but I mean, that was deserved. They did a lot of.
Yeah, I'm not yes.
Oh, not
but
slagging off the NHS.
I love the NHS.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it just felt, but you were just so stuck indoors and so bored.
Yeah.
Let's do it. You know, we spoke about Sri Lanka
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
It nearly was the end of our friendship, wasn't it?
Yes.
And it was through, not alcohol, no nothing, ice cream.
Ice cream.
Because you're a germaphobe, aren't you?
Kind of, yes.
He had an ice cream. And did I lick the spoon? I just...
No, you just took my ice cream and you licked from it, and I nearly had a.
No, on the spoon, not just... It was
No,
in a-
now I'm
No,
falling out over.
no.
I had enough of this. I'm walking away.
No, it was a tub, and I put a spoon,
the spoon
in,
in.
and then like that, and you went, have it.
Have it. And that's it. No, I don't know where that comes from. I'm a
Well,
little
why
bit.
are you? But I'm not. I cleaned my teeth.
That's not the point, is it? I don't know where your tongue has been. Or like the spoon and all of that. I've got no clue, darling. No, but that could have been the end. No, I am really bad with that.
But the spoon didn't even go in your mouth. My spoon touched the ice cream.
No, the thing was because you had, now I remember, you had ice cream as well, and then you used the spoon, huh? You used for your own eye. That sounds so ridiculous. People must
It
think
is
like,
it
who
is ridiculous.
No, but that's just me. I can't even
But it's
drink
weird.
out of-
It's weird, and you need therapy.
No, that's fine. I had therapy. I love therapy. I can pay
Why don't I
someone
get my
just
dog?
to
Get
listen.
my dog to lick the ice cream, and then you lick it after.
that's disgusting. I would never ever do that in my whole life. But even, I can't even let Sebastian drink out of my glass. That's how bad it
You
is.
see, that's weird. That's
I know
germ.
it's really
That's
weird.
germs.
But what is it for you? What do you have? You must have something. I kind of think, hold on, what's weird for you?
I hate
There's
when
too much.
someone's telling a boring story and I want to say my story.
So it's all about you.
All about me. And sometimes I'm like this.
Yeah, oh yes.
Get on with it.
Come to the end. Where's the punchline?
And I'm like,
we do. I mean, we should actually have a talking spoon sometimes because we fight over it. Not attention, but
no,
like,
and then I take the spoon and pop it in your ice cream and you go, get out.
that will shut him up. I can
finish
tell
up,
my
my friend.
story now.
I mean, that is an awful habit. I know that. And oh my God, worst habit ever. You know, my gappy teeth.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, you hate that.
I hate that.
Yeah, I stick anything in between
No,
to try and get the
he
food.
folds like a ticket from the train or whatever, and I always go, this is the most disgusting thing. And also you shuffle actually food instead of a knife. You use your hands. I hate that as well, and I always tell you off. I'm sorry, you heard it here first. It's true.
Describe that again, because
So-
I'm like that.
Yeah. No, but sometimes.
I use a knife and I'm not an animal.
No, you do, but then sometimes, be honest now, you still shuffle it on with
Okay.
your finger.
Okay,
And I always tell you off, like
Well, I
a
get
3-year-old.
bored of using the knife and fork, and then sometimes it's there, and I'll just go like that. But then,
No, you put it on the spoon or on the fork, but you don't use a knife, you use your finger.
What is the finger? They're clean. You just think I'm.
No, I can't take it. So I always tell him off.
Oh, no.
And then I need to get you for Christmas maybe like a silver toothpick, or
No,
something.
when I go to the dentist, they give me, because my teeth are fucked, they give me every
I
colour
like your teeth.
interdent. I've got green, purple, red, blue. And then she says, she doesn't know how busy I am, that poor hygienist.
not.
Alan, should look green there. And then she shows me, and you know, you're just going, meow. Green there, then blue there, then a red there. I'm like, boring. When can I talk?
But what was
Next.
that? But what was that story you just recently told me with the dentist? That like I nearly pissed myself with laughter when you went to the dentist
Oh,
with
she's-
Mr. Carr.
Oh.
And when
She
that,
went-
tell that story, I love that one.
She went, Mr. Carr, she said, what an honour it is to do your teeth. And I went, oh, okay, like that. And she said, yeah, you must look after your teeth, Alan. She said, obviously, do you drink? She went, I know you don't smoke. I said, oh, what? Yeah, because you wouldn't smoke, would you, being the no smoking guru? And
I
I'm,
love
"What?"
that so
Alan
much.
Carr, yeah, because you know what? Back in the day, I got invited to go to Japan to talk about nicotine addiction by Dr. Wong. They thought it was me, and my friend said you should have gone. It was like a first-class flight to Japan. I mean, I could have turned up.
Yeah,
I
but
could have
also
turned-
he died like how long ago?
yes, of lung cancer.
Oh.
Yes, you see, that's one of those twists. And you know, Dr. Atkins
Yeah.
fell down the stairs, fat as fuck.
No way.
Yep, he was
You
fat.
heard it here. Oh my God.
Yes, honestly, he's fat.
You see, that is like in the chair stories. Like
It's one of
that's
those
the
weird
gossip.
twists, isn't it, that happen? Like me, if I die, imagine if I fell on my teeth.
He swallowed his teeth.
Swallowed-
How did he die? He swallowed his teeth
And
and
please
finished it off with
give me
his
your
glasses.
spoon. Give me your spoon, Andreas. No, nine.
You're not gonna lick my spoon.
999. Please,
you-
now.
But what is it for you then? So for me, it's the licking the spoon. All of that. You must have some
I
vibe
hate
when
getting
other-
off with people and they've got fag breath. That's disgusting.
Oh
I don't mind alcohol breath. I just don't like faggy breath.
no, that's disgusting.
It is disgusting. There's enough things now. There's Listerine. There's those
But
interdent.
sometimes you can't prepare yourself and you snog someone in outside a pub or something, you know?
I once got off with a woman once.
Oh.
I always get off with women.
Oh, really?
Yes. But I'd had a whole mouthful of Bombay mix. That's disgusting, isn't it?
don't.
I like that. She was coming on to me. So I had this Bombay mix. I went like that. I mean, you'd hate that. Hands in a Bombay mix.
Yeah,
Too much
I
of that.
nearly threw up, but it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, like that. And it's like, oh, I don't know. So it was just, it was
Oh
just,
my
it was
God,
like,
that is-
it
and
was
she
like,
still wanted to kiss you.
she was paralytic. And she had her head on a shelf. Because she was, so I think she had a head injury. She went, Alan, bang, like that. And then it was like Bombay mix, and it was like a sandstorm.
Oh my God, that is, I never
It's
heard that before.
disgusting.
That is disgusting.
Yeah, she's called Jackie. Oh my God. can I tell this story?
Yes.
Yeah. So proper mental. You know, when I have a drink, I go a bit mental. She was my match. She was mental. And then the next day, I'm on the Mail online. I'm not in it. I'm reading it. She's in a headlock being outside a restaurant, trying to get near an A-lister outside the Ivy or one of those clubs. And I was like, oh my God, it's a woman.
Oh my
So
God,
she
I
is,
never heard
she
that
is
before.
a perpetual fucking mess.
Star fucker.
Star, yeah.
Oh my God.
Still with Bombay mix over her face.
Oh my God, that is
Sandblasted.
That is disgusting. I can't. Oh my God, that
disgusting,
is
isn't it?
disgusting. The Bombay mix, but you can actually use your fingers for Bombay mix. I don't have a problem with that.
It's just
want to
spoons.
because
Just
otherwise people now you don't have to use a spoon. That's what you can.
Well, I would
actually-
have a problem with Bombay mix because people don't wash their fingers.
So we just want one more thing. I just want to ask about. So what do you hate about other people then? What I mean, obviously for me, it's like germaphobe. There is a lot of things with me, but I'm not. You
You're
mentioned
not
already
interviewing
enough.
yourself. It's all about me today, for once. What's it like you handing over and giving me a chance to speak? How does that
Do
feel?
you know what? Everybody said that before I started this. They said, please, it's not about you. It's
Yeah.
about your guests. But we're doing well.
Yeah.
You had a lot of stories.
Yeah, all right, love.
Thank you. You know.
I've lived a life, I have. I'm surprised I'm being given the opportunity to finally talk.
But it must be weird to be on the other side. Normally, it's the one that you are the
Well,
one who
I've
obviously.
been interviewed, but yeah, I get what you're saying. But I mean, it's nice for you because it's a friend, and then there's nothing worse than when you do interviews and someone goes, "So, how'd you get started in comedy?" And you know, I know you shouldn't be. It's an honour that someone asked to interview, but fuck me. Buy my autobiography. It's in Oxfam for 50p. Read that, then get back to me. And also,
They should
how
be
do you know
prepared.
Adele? And, oh, no.
No.
Can't be bothered with that.
No.
But so it's nice to have that other layer where we know each other, and we can, and you get more out of someone, I think, if you know.
Yes.
You know,
Because
well, I
obviously,
hope-
we've been through a lot.
We've
Good
been-
times and bad times, which is good.
Good times,
Good and
bad
bad times, we sang together. We never shared an ice cream, and I never
Bombay
will.
mix.
But no, that's all fine. Don't worry about that. So I will try. Maybe that's my
This
New
dog's
Year's
found it
resolution.
so boring. Look at this.
He's asleep.
Look at the dog. The dog.
No, but
Oh,
listen.
Daddy's talking again.
Daddy, that's your new dog Rita, and you
Yes.
always say that she's deaf. And recently I've
She
been
is deaf.
into your house, but then sometimes
I
when you're
love that you keep saying she's
no,
deaf.
but then
she's
when
deaf.
your voice went really high pitched, she did turn around. So I think there must be like not what is it
Frequency?
called? No,
Frequency.
not what is it
I
called?
breathe Bombay mix in her face. Wake up. No, it's frequency.
Frequency.
Because
so then
the woman
she
at
must
the vet
obviously hear
said,
that.
Alan, have you got a dog whistle? Because sometimes she
They
says...
can hear that.
Sometimes they can hear a high-pitched voice. And I said, hello, love. Well, she lives with me. If that don't wake her up, nothing will.
No, we love her.
She's the
but
best.
listen, my love, thank you so much for doing this.
Oh,
because
my
you
God.
are extremely busy, obviously being
I've
a
always got time
national treasure and cleaning your
Yes.
teeth with a credit card. So I really appreciate it, and that was fun. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
I did. Thank you so
That's
much.
nice.
Thank you. Go on, please. Just whip a mirror around the back.
I will. I will.
Another ponytail?
Let's do a perm. Let's do a perm, darling. Let's go for it. No, thank you very much, darling. I love you.
I've had a lovely time, and I'll pay for the damage to the table.
Thank you.